When you see something out of the corner of your eye and you turn to look and nothing's there, there's a reason this happens. Now, we're not talking scientific today, but we are talking spiritual. So in this podcast episode, I'm really excited to share a couple of theories that are going to get you thinking about the spiritual realms, maybe just a little bit differently, and also in more of a connective way that will enhance your intuition, help you see, feel, and hear more intuitively. And plus, they're just straight up fun. I'm excited about this one. I love sharing theories, especially spiritual theories and concepts and ways to understand the spiritual world a little bit better than you do before you hear the theory. So that's my groove. That's part of how I teach. I love teaching in analogies. As if you've been following me for a while, you know that. But I also love to teach concepts and ideas, things to think about. When you start to expand your concept on the spiritual world, you have more access to your intuition. And that's what we're all about here. So I want to say welcome back to the listeners that have been following me for a while. I hope because of this podcast, you've been opening up that intuition a little bit more. You've been, having a little bit more of a balanced life and enjoying things a little bit more. That's what we're all about. That's what my tools are for. That's all of my teachings. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. You came in on a really good one. This one's going to be fun. And do the clicky thing, the subscribe, like, follow, share, something like that. We're trying to build the channel and spread the word about intuition. Everyone is intuitive. Everyone can open up. I search for my backstory. I am the poster child of opening up your intuition, going from complete skeptic to sitting here with you now, chatting about intuition. I've been open for about 20 years and I've learned a lot, and I am wired to be a cheerleader. So I'm what people consider a lighthouse teacher. I'm the teacher that's going to give you as many tools as I can give you, as many bits of knowledge as I can give you, and like today, concepts that will help you on your journey to open up your own intuition and be able to use it easily and on the regular. So let's do this. Okay, today I want to talk about the spaces in between. I want to talk about how source and molecules interact. I want to talk about what I mentioned in the beginning of why is it that when you see something out of the corner of your eye, but then you turn and look, it's gone. Why did that happen? I want to go into that, which is going to link to everything else. But I think a little bit of discussion on what is really solid and what is really the spiritual realms. Now, we're not going to talk about anything scientific here. This is strictly going to be spiritual concepts. And at this point, I need to remind my listeners that when I talk about things, I have to talk about them in the concept of form, because that's how we understand stuff in this beautiful human world of ours. But the concepts I'm talking about really, truly don't have form. We're just given some analogies, given some sort of ways to kind of grasp what we're looking at. And then here's the really cool thing. When you grasp what's happening around you in the spiritual realms, then it's easier to access them. It's easier to be able to see more, hear more, and feel more intuitively. So let's jump in. Let's start with the corner of the eye. When you see something out of the corner of the eye, and you're sure you saw something, maybe it was a person, maybe it was an animal, and you turn to look, you don't see anything because you're searching the table, the wall, the chair, the door. Your physical eyes are landing on everything because you're in search mode. Because maybe it startled you even. Maybe you're like, what was that? You turn and look and you can't find it. What's happening for you in this moment is when you see it out of the corner of your eye, you're having a spiritual experience. When you turn to look, you're having a human experience. What we are looking for in the spiritual realms is not in the solid. Now, somebody asked a question a couple videos ago. Sorry it took me this long to get to it, but they asked me the question of what is the agreed upon reality? And I that's how I say it. You may have heard me say it in previous episodes where I was talking about how mediums see or how psychics tap in. And I say the words letting go of the agreed upon reality. And what I mean by that is letting go of the solid. And what I mean by that is not having the human experience of looking, having the spiritual experience of looking. So let's break this down. Let's start with the basics. This agreed upon reality, which is also everything solid that you see around you, this is created of molecules, and the molecules come together. There's actually space in between every single molecule. When you have something that's very solid, very dense, like rock or stone or even wood, the molecules are vibrating very slowly. And if you have something that is very fluid, like liquid, air, fog, the molecules are vibrating faster. It's the space in between the molecules that is what you're actually looking for intuitively. It's not the molecules, because source resides between the molecules. Now, let me interject this one concept, quick little concept, because then it's going to come back around to what we're explaining with the corner of the eye. This agreed upon reality, the solid, is built within source. It's not somewhere else. Source isn't over there. We didn't take like a source shuttle or taxi from the other side to Earth. We didn't travel to Earth. Earth isn't hanging out in the corners. Source is everywhere. And in source, Earth was created. So within source, so think of source as, here's one of my favorite analogies. I've used this one before too. Think of source as a bowl of Jello. And think of molecules as the bits of fruit floating in the Jello. Now, before Earth, before all of this, every single soul that would ever have an experience or a lifetime on Earth gathered consciously, in a way, and agreed upon what Earth was. This is a microphone. This is a camera. This is a green shirt. We've agreed upon it before it even was created. It's all created in an instant, and it's created within source. So each soul that's come down here had a part and had a role to play in the creating of this. Thus, the agreed upon reality. Reality is reality, but when we put that agreed upon, it emphasizes the fact that it's not just you. You're not here by yourself. You and me, we're here together. We're two souls that came down. We planned this a lot, before it even happened. And we came down here and I bought this green shirt. And this green shirt was created because before this all happened, I was one of the souls that said, well, in this lifetime, there's going to be this really cool green shirt. So in essence, what we have is we have source, the Jello. We have little bits of fruit, which are the molecules. And those little bits of fruit come into formation through thought. So everyone says, all right, I need a whole bunch of bits of fruit, whole bunch of molecules to come together and make a green shirt. This is what I mean by agreed upon. So when a medium or an intuitive says the agreed upon reality, we're talking about the physical world, because we all said, yes, this is what it's going to be. Now, in essence then, Earth is built within source, and Earth is built with molecules. Molecules move around, they vibrate, again, slower, right, and faster to make things either dense or very fluid. And this creates the world that we sit in here today. And in between those molecules then is what? Source. So let me attach this to the corner of the eye. When you are in a defocused state, when your human eyes are not focused on the solid, focused on the molecules, then you are focused on source. So in a defocused state, you are relaxing into source. You're relaxing into the space in between the molecules. Your peripheral corner of your eye is defocused. This is why you saw something out of the corner of your eye. Then you turn and you look, and your human eyes are now focused on the molecules, on the wall, on the table, on the chair. And so when you turned also your focus to the physical. And when you did that, you're looking at the molecules, not the space. You're looking at the bits of fruit, not the jello. What does this mean for us as intuitives? This means that when we understand this, this is a game changer. When you know what you're looking for, where it is, and you can relax into it, you'll get so much more information. So much more information. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a slight tool on this one. I want you to, and then this is in the very first week of the course that I teach. I want you to sit in front of a blank wall and about 3-4 feet back. And I want you to look at the space in between you and the wall, eyes opened. I'm, in essence, asking you to defocus. I want you to let your gaze relax. So you're not looking at the wall because that's easy to do. What you're doing is you're pulling your gaze back so it just sort of floating right there. And then I want you to just relax. Take a deep breath, relax, and just say, is there any intuitive information that I need to hear? And see what happens. Now, couple keys to this. Number one, try it a couple different ways. If there's other ways that you can defocus your eyesight, and relax, you're golden. Some of those include scrying. That's people have been doing that for a long time, and it's actually really cool. You can also watch a flame flicker. You can stare into a bowl of water. You can stare down at a pattern, like down at the carpet. Maybe there's a pattern on the carpet that you can just sort of get lost in and it blurs. Do you remember those? I know you're probably already thinking this, but do you remember those paintings that looked like nothing? And then you stared at them and you relaxed your gaze just enough until all of a sudden an image would come in to view? That's what I'm asking you to do. Relax that gaze. Also try it with your eyes closed, because with your eyes closed, your human eyes are not connecting. And key point with your eyes closed, if you are looking for intuitive information with your eyes closed, do not look at the back of your eyelids. I know that sounds silly, but for this tool that you're going to try, don't look at the back of your eyelids. Just close your eyes, and you can even imagine or picture, and this is not intuition, but imagine or picture the room around you fading away. The agreed upon reality fading away. You're disconnecting from the agreed upon reality visually. You're relaxing your gaze. You're chilling. You're hanging out. I will say, please do GCP before you do this. GCP is ground, clear, protect. There's a link in the descriptions or bios, or just any link is pretty much going to get you to a free video on GCP. It's a great foundational tool that will help you to really anchor into your intuition and disconnect from anything that's interrupting it. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. It takes like 30 seconds to do. So do GCP, let your gaze relax. And here's the last thing about this particular tool. Stay open. Stay open to however it might come through. Maybe you're used to hearing intuitive messages, but this time you might actually see something. Or maybe you're used to being very visual and you do see things, but maybe this time you hear something, or you feel your guide's hand on your shoulder, something like that. So the keys to this, number one, GCP. Number two, find a way to let yourself defocus, relax your gaze, and let the room around you fade away. And then number three, stay open to whatever's going to come through. Try this and then come back and let me know how it goes. Like leave me a message in the comments or something. Because I love this exercise. Sometimes it can be that simple. You could even be on your intuitive journey for a while, and just this new information or reminder will set your attention on focusing in on the spiritual and focusing away from the material. So what happens when you see something out of the corner of your eye again? Well, now you're going to turn, but you're not going to focus in on the wall or the table. You're going to turn and you're going to relax your gaze. Or for some, eyes closed. Eyes closed, eyes open, whatever it takes to forget the room that you're in, to forget about your surroundings, to just be in a state of almost natural floating. That is the agreed upon reality. A couple more key points about the agreed upon reality. Now that I've given you that tool, which is going to be really fun, please practice it. And you might only want to practice like for a minute because your physical eyes might get a little bit tired. Over time, it gets easier. Trust me. And a couple other key things about the agreed upon reality. We learn about manifesting. We learn about building abundance and bringing things into our energetic space. And this is very true. It's once you start doing it and you work on it and you're setting your affirmations, you do start to get the things that you ask for, which is wonderful. But there's a reason why teachers, rightfully so, teach manifesting in a way to say, stay open to how it comes in and stay open to exactly what you're asking for. So you can get kind of specific on what you want to manifest in your life, but leave the door open to a variation of something coming in. And I'm going to tell you why that is. When we came down here with just a couple other souls. No big deal, billions and billions of them. And we're all walking around here, sharing space, sharing an experience, sharing the timeline. Think of every soul on this earth as a little speck of light. And you got a whole group of little specks of light running around the earth. And then we all have to move down a timeline. And a whole bunch of those specks of light are all manifesting what they want. On top of that, every single soul that's here right now has also set up kind of a predestiny, like an idea of, in general, what they want to do and what they want to experience when they're down here. And all these balls of light have to get down the timeline together. So we kind of have to cooperate. We kind of have to receive what we can receive without negatively affecting a whole bunch of other souls' lives. So this is where the phrase for the highest good comes. When you say for the highest good, you're saying, I'm not here alone. There's a whole bunch of us here. And I'm going to manifest something or I'm going to do something. And I don't want it to negatively impact another soul. It's actually quite a beautiful sentence. I do love it. With that said, I was going to say, but there's no buts. It's a great sentence. With that said, this is why we keep our manifesting open. This is why we don't say super specific vehicle. I mean, we might, because we might be a car collector. But in general, if you want an SUV, we say SUV. But we don't say, this exact type of SUV. Why? Because it's going to be easier for the universe to get you an SUV and also make sure that everyone affected by that is still on their highest good path. So this is the agreed upon reality in itself. We've all come down here and we're shimmying around each other, like all these little specks of light all moving around, making sure everybody has the experiences that they need to have, both good and bad. I know it's not a perfect world here in any way, shape, or form. But this is why, think of anyone famous that is like handsome or beautiful and everyone says, oh, I would marry them. They're only going to marry one person. But you can have 100 people sitting there trying to manifest a marriage with this person, but it's not going to work because we're linked into the agreed upon reality, and we all agreed. There's one famous person named such and such, and there's not 100 of them that 100 people could be. Although that would be a really unique experience, wouldn't it? That would be. I bet you there's a planet out there like that. I bet you there's a planet out there that people can manifest really anything they want, yet everybody on the planet still can get along and have their life. That got really confusing really fast. But it was kind of whimsical. So we're sticking to Earth today. We're sticking to the agreed upon reality. We are looking at understanding it and navigating it and learning how to kind of disconnect from it to get closer to source. When we're all down here having this experience together, it's a fantastic thing. Think about it. Think about all these souls navigating this together at the same time. And everyone has decisions, everyone has desires and wants, and yet we're all still moving forward. We're all still trucking along on this timeline. And here we are, honing our intuition, tapping into it a little bit more, and now we have a tool for it. So, in summary, for this session, the agreed upon reality is exactly that. It is how we all agreed that the molecules would come together to create the solid world that is within source. So when we let go of the solid and we relax into source, then we have easier access to intuitive messages, spirit guide communication, communication with our loved ones. And we can also kind of give ourselves a little bit of a break if we're not getting exactly what we want through our manifesting, because we understand that we're all down here navigating together and it has to be for the highest good. So there it is. There's a little bit of concept for us today to think about, to chew on. It's a new way to look at your intuition. It's a fresh way to look at your intuition. So practice the tool, enjoy it. Let me know what happens if you have a really cool experience, and I will see you next week.
This podcast is brought to you by the SAGE Method, the most comprehensive and down-to-earth intuitive development training available. Is this your year? Is it finally your time to increase your intuition, bring in more abundance, and experience the bliss you deserve? If yes, then join thousands of students across the world for a 7-week journey to uncover your natural, beautiful, and strong intuition. Visit us at thesagemethod.com for more information.